What's up guys, and welcome to Void of Dust Gaming, your channel for fresh Arena of Valor content. I was asked if I was able to play Ryoma in one of the matches. He has been slightly buffed, like he's got a double dash right now if he hits the target with his first dash. That's his first ability. And I've recorded the game, but it's more about a good team composition than rather the Ryoma play. That said, it's quite sad, actually, but I think it gives a good impression of Ryoma's skills, especially in the first half of the game, as I've been playing against Richter, and Richter was a delightful match. Richter is really fast, Richter is super mobile, and basically what he does is hide in brushes and just jump it out back and forth over and over again, but Ryoma has the power to get him in his tracks, so that's something that you can watch and enjoy. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell as well as the subscribe button, and a like would always be appreciated by me. So thanks for watching and enjoy the video. Alright, welcome to the Armoury. This is a build that I came up with myself. Like usually, if you put Ryoma in the jungle, you will see something like this. My build is not yet finished. Maybe I'm gonna try something else for especially swapping the Aegis against the Frost Cave, for example. But I wanted to have something a little bit more tanky, because I had the feeling, or with my games that I had with Ryoma in the past, I always struggled a little bit because I was like a super glass cannon. You deal out massive amounts of damage, but as soon as you get into a warrior tank on the solo lane, you will sometimes find yourself a little bit exposed. And the problem with that is that I'm not the most experienced Ryoma player, so you've got the stun and you've got some damage and you've got some evade mechanics throughout your build, but I just felt quite uncomfortable, so therefore I wanted to try and maintain something that is a little bit more tanky while still having the damage. So we're using Rank Breaker, Omni Arms and Fenris Tooth in this build, and by adding the Mantle of Ra, we are still having a good chunk of armor, again with some damage that's coming from the passive. Arcana-wise, we're going full damage as well as with the enchantments. Therefore, you're going to see normal attack increase 45, armor pierce 100, and movement speed. I've chosen 10 times Onslaught, I've chosen 10 times Assassinate, and I've chosen 10 times Skewer. That said, we're using Assassinate over Guerrilla because we will have a few attacks. Like, it's not about the attack speed, but it's about the impact that you do with each consecutive attack. Therefore, I've chosen this build over some attack damage build. That's attack speed build, not attack damage, over an attack speed build. Enchantment wise, we're going full damage. Besides the only rune that's gonna give us a little bit sustain, that's the Devourer. You could also use, for example, Shadow Blade, because your dash ability is a movement ability, but I don't think that that's... I would always take Devourer over Shadow Blade, and the rest of the build is pure damage. We've got the Deadly Claw for the additional attack damage. We have the Curse of the Death. Hit enemy hero 3 times in a short period, easy peasy. You have the ultimate where you are just dashing out stuff with your spear or your lance or whatever it's supposed to be. We've got Axe of Sacrifice for even more damage, and we've got the Holy Verdict for the additional armor pierce. So that's the build, and now you're gonna see how I was facing Richter. So to begin with, I felt quite uncomfortable because I know that Richter has a great mobility and it's much easier for him to land his shots, and he has the ability to basically cancel one impact attack that's gonna apply on him by using his 2. Therefore, I was seeing myself a little bit on a uphill battle, or going against an uphill battle, because I was just feeling like, okay, he will dash into me, then he will use his 2, I won't be able to retaliate by using my 2, and therefore it will just go back and forth all the time. And you can see that he was doing this exact same thing that I was just mentioning. He's just going from that one brush on the upside to that brush in the river, and he's just moving back and forth trying to Poke me to death. That's basically what Richters do at the beginning of the game, trying to get a few kills in, and as soon as they've got their build and they've got their items, they will face you one-on-one, and they will destroy you by using their ult and by using the damage that comes from the items. So, not an easy matchup, especially for me as a non-experienced Ryoma player. Therefore, my strategy was to poke back. You can see that quite good in the video at the beginning of the game. And I was just trying to use my dash ability to kind of retreat back to safety if I've exposed myself a little bit too much. And I was also trying to get as many health items as possible. I don't know what he does at the moment, like he's still waiting for his chance. I would have already cleared the Vision Bird if it was for me, but that seems not to be the Richter stuff. That was a little bit risky business here on my behalf, as I was choosing something that I had. I was choosing the movement boots, and he was standing next to me in the brush. I think his reaction wasn't that great. He could have easily moved in and applied 1 or 2 hits on me by knocking me up, and even tried to knock me up back again. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't that experienced. As I said, like Richter, I don't know if a experienced Richter would win against an experienced Ryoma. I can't tell that by scratch. Like, I don't really watch like pro plays at all, but eventually, I mean, the cancellation thing is pretty damn good. I missed that. So it's still a little bit hard for me to land the shots. Like, as I said, like sometimes I just press the button and then I'm really relying on the auto aim. Missed my ult here, and as you can see, like now he has ult. He doesn't have the items, so that's something that's at least in my favor. But look, like he just dashes around, and that comes from the Hermes boots. So we have a super mobile Richter, and oh yeah, as I said, like I don't really watch that many pro plays, but I have been watching one pro play in the late stage in the Hexes tournament, and that was Darkbreaker, and Darkbreaker was a Richter, and he was a super roaming Richter. So basically, Richter was all over the place. And he was just moving back and forth between the lanes. And that's something that Richter can do pretty damn good. Like, he has crazy mobility. As you guys know, that from the effects from the terrain, he does get some side effects. So that was bad. That was super bad. But then, that was bad from both of us. So I need to retreat here, but I could have killed him. And I am. I'm killing him. So I don't know what the intention was. Like, Laville was roaming up here, which is pretty much a good move, like putting some pressure on the lane. But basically, I just killed Richter by myself because he made a mistake. Like, that was a mistake. He should have gone back. Maybe he was underestimating the range that my stuff has. So after, like, I have shown you the Gilded Greaves in the video, but as we were against 3 or 4 attack damage based heroes, Butterfly, we've got Thane, we've got Violet, and we've got Richter, I was just adopting my game to the place or to the point where I thought like the Sonic Boots might just be more in my favor because it is reducing melee damage. Again, we're having a good time against Richter. Like, now I've got the first kill in. I think the first half of the game went fairly well. Now he's trying to get his stuff in. I'm rotating a little bit, which wasn't really that great. And now he is dead again. Completely overestimating his choices, completely overestimating his skills. At least that's how it seemed. I'm stealing the Vision Bird from the Varus, which I should not have done. But that rotation so far was fine. Like, she was doing good. And this is basically the best part of the video. Now starts the trash. I know that I'm spoiling it, but I don't want to I don't want you guys to run into an open wound. Now it's going to be like the first half of the game. As you can see, we are on a 4-5. So that is kind of like, that's kind of excusable. That's all right. I've got my 2 kills. The rest of the team is getting along quite well. But now is the point of the game, and look at that. Like, I'm doing so much damage. That's crazy. And just these few pieces are missing. Maybe that comes from not building a damage item at first, but I wanted to have this higher sustain and that defense on my build. I don't know what Illumia does here. So I'm missing my stuff, going back in, I can't deal it. Now Thane comes in, and now I'm exposing myself just a little bit too much. And now Butterfly roams in. So I did completely the same that the Richter did before. I completely overextended, so that was a bad mistake. And now they're able to push through the tower. Laville comes up. That's quite nicely played by him. So he's protecting that tower. So it's actually not too bad. But now what you're going to see from my perspective, at least that's what I remember from the game that I've played yesterday, is that now you will realize that we don't have a plan. Like, no one is calling stuff. Flash is doing, I don't know, strange business down at the bottom lane. Laville is basically doing what the jungler has to do. Like, he's roaming all the time instead of pushing his lane. So his lane isn't pushed at all. Like, the tower is unharmed, no scratches attached. And now we need to go out, and that's overextending again. Like, I don't know what we did here. As I said, we don't really have a game plan. So overextending and exposing ourselves in that kind of way is basically just leading to a loss. And you can see that we don't have a true support. Like, I wouldn't even say that Flash is basically a bad support, but the way Flash played his Flash and what the consequences were for the Laville, basically, I think was a part of the setup why we lost the game. So it's some kind of psychological thing. So we had Laville going all over the board, like going crazy, just running around like a marathon runner. So we had that win condition. Like, Laville is basically the damage dealer. He can easily carry our team if he has the farm and if he has the experience. So that's like one win condition. And because he was not satisfied with the choices that were made by the Flash, like Flash being not the support that he wanted to, he started to run around the map. So that was basically like the consequence from the choice that the Flash made as a support. I think basically it was like a really bad misunderstanding at the beginning of the game. Like, no one wanted to pick support, so we had 2 mages, like 2 mid laners. Flash can be a support, but he's not really offering that much to the AD carry. Like, the best part about the Flash is that he can just reel people in with by using his ultimate, his Cyclone. That gives you the opportunity to basically stick around that and apply damage in a really concentrated part of the map. But Varus as a jungler wasn't impressive. I don't know if Laville has taken some of her farm. Could be some of the consequences. So it's all kind of like a string. If that happens, that happens, that happens, and now you can see the outcome. 517. I'm running around like an idiot myself right now. So I'm trying to be helpful and useful, trying to clear lanes, but as no one's pushing and my team is completely lost in the enemy jungle, this game is lost. Like, the only reason why I am not pressing the button to surrender is that I never surrender. I'm not surrendering at all. And I completely need to work on my micromanagement because I can't hit a single spell or ability. So as you can see, the game is fairly lost. 2-4-1 is and 3-5. Like Flash has more kills than our AD carry. Flash and I are basically, or not even basically, like we're the damage dealers. Like we did the damage in the game. That's the really sad reality. And I think we could have done better. Like it's not because we lost our support at this point, or we had no support at this point. Like we've won games with 2 junglers. Easy. It's just basically I think it comes basically from what you expect to happen in a game, and I think that Laville was basically just throwing the game by himself, and therefore he gets reported because now he's AFK, and I can't stand a behavior like that. Like I just don't like it. It's 5 minutes of your freaking life, so invest that time, be a good teammate, and even if you don't win the game, you can just like that's just like sportsmanship. Don't AFK around. I just hate it. I really dig that feint skill. So yeah. My verdict on Ryoma so far, it's like he's still super glass cannon-y. Like that's the truth about him. I haven't figured out how to play him like super well, especially in team fights, as he has this kind of poke damage and he has like not single target, but he is really close up to the enemies. I need to figure out how to play him correctly or better in this kind of way. I think the build worked okay-ish. Next time I will try to use the Aegis and turn that into a Frost Cape, but I'm not entirely sure about the build so far. I need to work on that. Maybe I'm gonna go jungle, but so I think jungle full damage is all right because you've got the mobility to just jump around and pick your fights. But the thing is, you need to play him more as an assassin, and I didn't do that. Like I played him as a warrior, and he has to be played more like an assassin. MVP doesn't help us that much, but yeah, here comes the stats. 5-9 to 5-1. That's the result of the match. Quick buy, you have seen the build. As I said, AFKs get reported. There is no discussion about that. Here comes the details. 23% damage, 60% participation, and that's it. Thank you guys for watching.